What to say when a client reaches out to you, they finally respond to you, but they say, well, we are already working with freelance writers. That is the question we're going to talk about today is, what if they already have freelance writers? You're in this client outreach phase where you're trying to land high-paying freelance clients, but they already have a writer. Now, of course, someone is blowing leaves outside at this exact moment that I'm recording, but what do? Do you wait for conditions to be perfect, or do you just go live and hope for the best? So please type in the chat and let me know if you can hear the leaf blower and if it is super obtrusive, or if you can hear me just fine and I should just keep going. Please let me know. So the topic of today's live is going to be how to respond to clients when they're saying, we already have writers, but we'll keep you in mind. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because in my course, 30 Days to Paid, we have a community where people will hop in the community and say, Christine, they just said this. What do I say back? What does this mean? How should I prepare for this call? So on and so forth. And when you're in this cold pitching phase, a lot of the time a client will get back to you saying, thanks for reaching out. We already have someone, but I'm interested. But we can hop on a call. But send me your rates. But send me your portfolio. Whatever the response may be. And a lot of people are confused by this because, so Brandon said the leaf blower is not bothersome. Thank you, God. Awesome. Wonderful. I think a lot of writers get that response from clients that say, oh, well, we already have a writer, or we are working with someone, but send me this. And they're like, well, what does that mean? It seems like mixed messages. So I kind of want to break down what that means. But first, let me just remind you why cold pitching is the best way to land clients, because I think we need to preface the conversation with that first. So we're only, let's see, today is the 8th, 9th, 10th. So we're like 2 days away from the Freelance FasTrack Challenge. If you're not registered, go to paidcopywriter.com and attend this live challenge that's going to help you boost your freelance copywriting career and actually start taking action. Definitely register for the free challenge if you have not already. But that being said, I want to talk to you about why you should be cold pitching to land your first freelance client. And you might fall into a few different camps if you're listening to this. You might be someone who's brand new and is just trying to figure all this out. I would say you're like a fresh start, like you're just learning all this stuff. Number two, you might be in kind of what I call the Upwork trap, where you're basically taking on some low-paying gigs. Somebody has given you some work, but you're not really understanding how to finagle this so that you're making a full-time income or making enough money where this is actually going to be worth it. I think a lot of people fall into that camp. Or you could be the third type of person, which is like, hey, I am a freelancer. I make decent money. I kind of got the hang of this, but there's probably some strategies out there that I'm not using that I think would be helpful. And this girl talks about cold pitching, so let me give this a chance, right? So you're one of those three people. Cold pitching, regardless of what phase you are in, that new, that intermediate, or that experienced bucket, it puts you in the driver's seat, right? So you become proactive versus passive. And the reason I say that is because the majority of invoices, the majority of income that I've been paid as a freelancer has been from clients coming to me. Okay, they are tech clients that no one has ever heard of and probably never will hear of. We only hear about like the Ubers and the Salesforces and the PayPals of the world, but there's thousands upon thousands of other lesser known tech companies that need help in their marketing strategies. That's why they hire copywriters. I have my big name clients that I put on my website. Those are those logos. That's something I teach in the course, is like how to market yourself correctly and, you know, appeal to other clients by getting those logos on your website. So I have those logos. For me, it's companies that I've worked for like DocuSign, HP, BetterUp, Thinkific, Zapier. These are more of like the well-known brands that I try to brag about so that clients understand that I've been trusted by bigger name clients. But the majority of my income actually comes from lesser known clients that have reached out to me. However, even though those people have come to me on LinkedIn, I don't rely on that. I put myself out there proactively, and that's how I got those big name clients. So that's a big difference. Like DocuSign and other well-known tech brands were never going to reach out to me because, as most of you know, I started with no experience. I started from scratch. I didn't have testimonials. I didn't have published samples. I had nothing. So those bigger name tech brands were not going to be reaching out to me. So I had to be proactive and reach out to them. Just in general, it puts you in control of your career. You are getting your foot in the door with the clients that you want to work for. So everybody knows those dream clients or bucket list clients that you would want to work for. And with cold outreach, you're able to get those opportunities. And that's obviously what I teach about and talk about because I have a background in sales. So it's also targeted, right? So when you have this niche, when you have this list of companies that you want to work for, your approach and your efforts are going to be targeted. And when something is concentrated, you just make more progress, right? If you are going after all of these different companies and all these different markets, you're not going to get as far because you're not penetrating one market. You really want to saturate and put all of your focus into one niche, because then the momentum, it compounds. Because once you, let's say you're a health and wellness writer, once you've gotten a big health and wellness brand, it's so much easier for you to get another big health and wellness brand because they see that you've had experience with them. So it's targeted. I want you to take that away. It's proactive and it's targeted. And then the third reason is that you are beating the competition, essentially. So most people are bidding on open opportunities, open jobs, or they are on freelance websites, and that kind of puts you in this big bucket of other freelancers, whereas targeted outreach actually makes you rise above the competition, because just from a numbers perspective, most copywriters are not going to be targeting that person at the exact moment that you're going to be targeting them, with the exact message they need to hear, with the exact experience that you have and the portfolio, right? So cold pitching is your direct line to clients. You're actually able to get in the door with them before they ever start looking for a freelance writer. And that's why one of the things I always talk about is that freelance clients thank me for reaching out to them and putting myself in their line of sight at the exact moment they needed a writer, because the process of them trying to go out and hire a writer and post a job listing and get all of this, this influx of applications and portfolios, that's very overwhelming and very time intensive for clients. So if the right writer with the right set of experience who has branded themselves properly just happens to pop into their inbox that day saying, are you looking for a writer? It's such a match and it's such a relief to the client. So those are really the three top reasons why I say cold pitching is the most effective way to kickstart your freelance career, to land these high paying clients, and to become an expert in your niche, because it is proactive, it is targeted, and it makes you rise above the competition. So now that we have that out of the way, when you are in this motion where you are sending out cold pitches, you're eventually going to get responses if you are positioned correctly and sending the right message, right? So some of the responses you get might be, well, we're working with writers, but send me your rates, send me your portfolio. This is a conversation that came up today in my hashtag paid writers community. When you join 30 Days to Paid, you get instant access to the community where we interact, and you can, say, hey, this person said this, what do I say back? So you get that support from me. And I had one of my students today say, well, I have a call next week. How do I prepare? I don't think it's like a real call, but she said she's already working with writers, but she does want to talk to me. And I want you to be able to see through that, because if somebody is willing to get on a call with you, don't just treat that as anything. That's a real client call that you just landed. They would not be getting on a call with you unless they were interested in working with you. And here is the reason why, right? So number one, clients work with multiple writers. As a freelancer, you're rarely going to be like the one and only freelancer they have. And actually, you want a client that works with several freelancers or has worked with several freelancers, because having that brand new client that does not know how to work with a freelance writer, it's going to take a lot of communication on your end. It's a lot of experience and nuance for you to kind of mold them to understand what your process is and how to best work with each other. So you want clients that are familiar with working with freelance writers, that understand the process of outsourcing work to freelance writers. Clients will work with multiple freelancers at a time. That's why I got a message even the other day, an email saying like, I know that they have other writers working for them. That's fine. That does not have to sabotage or stop you or delay you or pause you. They can work with multiple freelance writers. The other thing is that clients are not necessarily happy with their current freelance writer. And that sounds a little harsh, but you have to understand the ecosystem of freelance writers. It is a transactional type relationship where clients can get work done quickly by a freelancer and move on. It's like a touch and go relationship. It's very, I guess, casual. It's not the commitment of an employee, which is, in my opinion, good for me and good for the client. I want to be able to let a client go very quickly if I'm not happy, and that's their right to do as well. That's why we as freelancers need to be really good communicators. We need to be intuitive about what our clients want. We need to understand how to make clients happy. That's why all of the work I'm doing online is based on how to communicate with clients, how to retain clients, how to reach out to clients, because as a freelancer, you can have this sustainable, lucrative income if you understand how to build relationships with clients. That's like the big differentiator. So clients are working with writers, but they're not necessarily happy with those writers. And I do get that a lot when I get on calls, because I always dig a little bit deeper, saying, what has your experience been like working with freelance writers? How do you work with freelance writers? I try to get into the nitty gritty of their experiences with freelance writers so I can act accordingly, right? Because there's certain things they can say that might be red flaggy to me. There's certain things they say where I'll be like, okay, they don't like that. I'm going to make sure I don't do that. I always ask that, and that's a little tip for you if you're on this call, you're listening to this. On your next call with a client, ask them what their experience has been working with other freelancers. That is a gold mine of information that will come out. The client will share with you their past experiences. It will really give you such good intel into how to manage them as a client. But a lot of freelance clients are just, they have a writer and they're doing okay, but they could always do better, and they want someone better, and that writer could be you. So that's what my whole point is, that you don't really want to assume that everyone is taken and everyone is spoken for, because they are working with freelance writers, but it doesn't mean that they're 100% content with that writer. It doesn't mean that they are not open to other writers. I just had a client call the other day where the freelance client was working with multiple writers and kind of in a testing phase with them, but she said the big difference is none of them have familiarity with our product. And me, because I have a niche, because I am very targeted in who I reach out to, which are all things I teach, I was actually a user of their product, a customer of their product, and that made me instantly more attractive to them. So that's another really key tip too. Reach out to the companies that you use, that you're familiar with, that you follow. If you can get on a call with a client and say, I use your product, I'm a customer of your product, I follow your product, I have experience in even using your competitor, I'm very knowledgeable about this space, that will go light years with a freelance client, because they say, oh, this person, even though I don't know the writing skill, I don't know anything else at this point, I know that they have the knowledge. And knowledge is actually way more important for a freelance writer, because freelance writers market other people's company. Femovert said, hope to see the full video on YouTube. Yes, I'm going to upload this to YouTube ASAP. The other thing is they will make room in the budget for someone they think is great. So that's the other thing too. A lot of us think, oh, they're already working with writers, they have a set budget, they're taken, they're spoken for. But the, I guess, secret with these marketing departments and these companies is that for the right person who they believe will get them results, they will open up budget, allow budget, they will request more budget. However it works internally within their company depends on the size and the department and the structure. If you're working for like a CEO or a founder or someone, the budget's all in their control. For me, I pitch marketing managers, so they have to request budget and go through approval processes. So all of that being said, nothing is really set in stone. You would be surprised that budget will magically open up for the right person who wants to do a good job for that client. So they will make room for it. And then the next question is like, Okay, clients work for multiple writers. They're not necessarily happy with their current writer, so maybe they will, be looking for someone else. They can make budget for a new writer. And the question then becomes, how do you become someone great? How do you become someone who they are going to open up budget for, that they are going to give a chance, that they are going to get a call with, that they are going to replace their current writer, whatever? How do you become that writer? And that's actually where your value proposition, your unique differentiator, your what I call irresistible freelance offer, that's where that comes into play. That's actually day 4 of the Freelance Fast Track Challenge, where I talk about that, because we will go into this process where I basically share with you, hey, here's how we're going to identify what makes you unique. Here's the buzzwords you need to be hitting on so that you stand out to this ideal client. I think that's what a lot of freelance writers are missing. They're not properly positioning themselves to appeal to the ideal client that they're looking for, and that's where I want to come in and help, because I understand how we can position you to stand out to your ideal client. Bespoke Copywriters said how to actually get a response, what makes them respond even if it's a rejection. So the biggest thing that I find with that is that if you look reputable, if you are properly optimized, if you're marketing yourself correctly, a lot of clients will, even if they're not looking for somebody at that moment, they'll recognize the value in you and they'll say, hey, I'm not looking for someone right now at the moment, but we could be looking for someone in the future. They might even respond and say, thanks for reaching out, but no, not right now. And even that, in my opinion, is a really positive response, because I think if the message was really bad or your profile looks weird and it's giving weird vibes, they will completely ignore you. So if you're getting even responses saying, hey, thanks for reaching out, but we're not looking for someone right now, in my view and my experience and how much cold outreach I've done, that really is a sign that they're at least seeing you as someone who is worthy of responding to. The other big thing with that I want to point out is that this sounds like kind of like a salesy thing, but no, it doesn't mean no, it means no, not right now. And why I say that is because a client that I recently had a call with is someone who I've spoken to multiple people within their company in the past, and they have said, no, we're not looking for somebody, no, not right now. So content marketing and freelancing is very cyclical, it's very seasonal. Needs change really rapidly, and that's why new needs, differing needs, they're always arising. People are quitting, people are moving on. So you never want to just say, well, I spoke to somebody at that company, they said no, and now I'm moving on. It's not like that. Like, you have to understand what goes on inside these companies. And I do have a unique vantage point when it comes to that, because I did go in-house for I would say 6 to 7 months, where I was working in a marketing department, and I was their content lead, and I was hiring teams of writers. I also have been hired as a consultant to source writers, and that's why sometimes I'll be posting about freelance writing opportunities. So I do understand what it is like to hire writers. I hire writers in my business right now. Please don't pitch me. The fact that I just said that, I sometimes get a lot of pitches from freelance writers. I'm not open right now, so don't waste your time on me. Just reach out to somebody who is looking for a writer. I'm not. I have my writers at the moment. But being on that hiring side allows me to at least convey this information to you that shares with you how to get in front of your ideal client and what they are looking for. Hi, Christine. Love your content. Thank you so much. So appreciate that. So I'm going to be discussing topics like this and more in the Freelance Fast Track Bespoke Copywriter says, sorry that I did. That's okay. Just, shoot your shot. That's totally fine. But I'm not looking for someone at the moment, but you never know. I appreciate the effort. So join the Freelance Fast Track Challenge. It officially starts in 2 days, because on Sunday is the official welcome party. I want you guys to join live. We can hang out. And then for the next 5 days, I'm going to be going live twice, which means that in the morning session, I'm going to be teaching what you need to know. And then at 1:30, we're going to come back and do a live Q&A similar to this fashion right here, where I'm just chatting with you, answering any questions you may have. I'm also going to be offering a pop-up community where you can network with other writers, get that assistance from me, and kind of understand the community feel and what it's like to be part of a network of freelance writers. So the official challenge dates are September 11th through the 15th. You're going to get recordings. However, you don't have to be live, but however, you really should be keeping up in time with those replays because they will not be available forever. So you're definitely going to want to be catching up on those replays as we progress through the challenge. And I just want to pull up the agenda right now of the Freelance Fast Track Challenge so you know what topics we are going to be covering. Because the whole point of this challenge is to get you into action. So you're going to get a workbook as well. So after each day's lesson, you're going to complete these exercises in the workbook that are actually going to get you into action and be teaching you and educating you on what you need to be doing in order to get your freelance copywriting business off the ground and landing these higher paying clients. So day one, I'm going to be teaching all about mindset. Okay, so I believe there's a very distinct mindset between the people who succeed and who don't. I am someone who has been freelancing full-time for the past 4 years, and I've worked for some notable clients in the tech space. I have been self-employed long enough to understand the mindset that is required to make a full-time lucrative income. And yes, a lucrative income is possible. I think there's a lot of connotations that freelance writing is not the big money maker, but there are plenty of people who are making six figures as freelance writers. If you don't believe me, check out the work of Superpath. They gather a lot of reports about income and earnings for freelance writers. You just have to be positioned correctly. You have to choose the right niche, and you have to understand how to manage clients. Day two is going to be crafting your irresistible freelance offer. So that's what I spoke about before. It's like, how do you become that writer that is automatically going to stand out to the client? How do you have these conversations like what I'm having with my clients where they're like, yes, I'm excited. I want to work with you. You are the writer that I've been waiting to reach out to me because I've been working with people that just aren't a good fit, and you are the right fit. So I'm going to share with you how you can properly position yourself so you become that writer. Day three is going to be about cold pitching, right? So we want to make sure that you're not just willy-nilly sending templated, robotic sounding cold pitches. I'm going to give you kind of a behind the scenes look about, okay, this is a cold pitch template that works. Here's how you should be customizing it. Here's how to make it work for you. I've taught so much about freelance cold pitching. Like my whole course is really based on those principles. So that's going to be, just a run-of-the-mill lesson for me on day two, but it's going to be super enlightening. That was day three is cold pitching. Day four is going to be about where to find your dream freelance clients. And I would say this is the differentiator, because I think you could go to a lot of people who talk about freelancing online, but they're not going to be sharing how to find higher quality clients. This isn't about, hey, here's how to make an attractive profile on Upwork. Here's how to create a personal brand as a freelance client. This is about strategically targeting your dream freelance clients, the clients that are going to raise your status and make you an expert in your industry, in your field, and being very strategic about how you brand yourself and the type of clients that you should be reaching out to, and where to find those clients, and how to communicate with them, and how to consistently search for those clients, right? And then day five is the freelance business action plan, which I'm so excited about, because that's where everything is going to come together. You're going to receive a template that is like blank. It's your freelance business plan. You are going to create a business plan for yourself so that you can see all of the actions you need to be taking on a consistent basis, and how it's going to work financially, and what you need to be doing and the steps you need to take. And once you have that, and then you've done all the mindset work, all of this, work that we've been doing the past week, it's the business plan is really where it comes full circle. That's where things are going to start happening, because you're going to have a plan. Okay. So That's the 5 days. It's going to be mindset, crafting your irresistible freelance offer, non-salesy freelance pitches, finding your dream clients, and then wrapping it all up with your freelance business action plan. If you know people, if you're in communities where other freelancers are, I want you to spread the word far and wide about this challenge. This is something I'm only doing once, maybe twice per year. I think for 2023, this is the last time I will be doing a live thing like this. I'm doing so much promotion. I'm trying to really, drum up the excitement, because this is not something that I'm going to be doing often. You guys probably know me from YouTube, and I do love recording videos there, but this is a different experience where we're going to be in a container where I'm giving you this personalized attention, the type of attention that I only can give to my paid students, because obviously I'm just one person. So this is your opportunity to experience that direction and guidance and mentorship that you've been missing. So tell your freelance friends about the FasTrack Challenge, have them register. We already have almost 600 people registered for this challenge, and we're trying to hit 700. That's the goal. So if you want to help me, if you want to support me, if you love the free content that I put out, one of the most amazing ways you can give back and support me without a monetary exchange is really just to tell other people and help me promote the Freelance FasTrack Challenge, which is starting September 11th. The welcome party is September 10th, so you definitely want to make sure that you're at the welcome party. But the official challenge and the teaching is from September 11th to September 15th. Thank you all so much. Happy Friday. It's going to be a beach day for me for sure. I'm going to finish up some work and head out, but register for the Freelance FasTrack Challenge at paidcopywriter.com. And if you could, I would so appreciate if you share the link with other freelancers and help me talk about the Freelance FasTrack Challenge so that other people can be impacted by this free information. Hey, Jordan. All right, guys, have an amazing day, have an amazing weekend, and I so look forward to being with you guys live twice per day during the Freelance FasTrack Challenge and opening up the community. Super psyched. Happy tanning. Thank you.